Rick, you ever gonna let us meet your girlfriend, or are you just gonna hide her from us completely forever?
She's from Canada.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I met her at camp, and she's from Canada, and she cooks a lot of good foods, especially cowboy cookies.
She doesn't make appearances.
Well, she made an appearance in Chicago, but you guys were, busy, indisposed.
There's a fucking pandemic going on.
Exactly. So then it's your fault at this point that you haven't met her. So don't put that shit on me, dog.
Technically, it's your fault for causing the global pandemic because you are patient zero.
Patient zero. I don't accept that responsibility, and you shouldn't put that on me. This is 2021. We should be nicer to each other, guys. Turn a new leaf.
I actually was looking back and thinking about, like, comparatively how good my 2020 was. Mark, you could probably say the same thing. I mean, I know we're a little touch and go with Nolan at first, but like we both had kids we both had our first children come into the world. Mark and I, we both got to do really cool shit in terms of meeting people who we wouldn't be able to meet outside of having a podcast and being interactive with people like that. It's kind of crazy. Like this week, I got to talk to some of the most famous comic book artists on the planet for no reason other than somebody called me and was like, "Hey, you want to do this?"
Mainframe Comic-Con, right? With Chuck?
Yeah, so it was our drink and draw this week, and I talked to, I'll just rattle off the list real quick because it's a long list. Walt Simonson, Michael Oeming, Dan Brereton, Cully Hamner, Phil Hester, Gabriel Hardman, Ryan Dunleavy, Jules Rivera, Tom Fowler, Ibrahim Mustafa. And basically what it was is we sell tickets ahead of time. That's like you're entitled to, they're these like coaster things. And you get this comic book artist. You send them a request of a character you would like to see them draw. And if you purchase a ticket, they'll draw it on air. They're all talking the entire time. It was like 2 hours long. Everybody was just kind of talking about, like how they came up in the industry. Obviously, Walt Simonson is like one of the most famous comic book artists of all time. And he had stories out the ass. He broke some news. He's talking about how he's going to come back and write some or draw some X Factor, and his wife Wheezy's going to write some. And it's been like since the 1980s that's happened. And,
who is Walt Simonson and why is he famous, Smithers?
Go fuck yourself, Mark.
I'm serious.
I'm serious too. Yeah.
Brick, I believe that you are sincere in your question, but I don't believe Mark.
What are you going to tell us? Like, I guarantee you there's going to be listeners that have no idea who that is.
Walt Simonson is very famous for doing Thor when Thor was really big. Like, first of all, he started drawing in like the 50s. And ever since then, he's done everything for DC and Marvel. I believe that he was the first guy to draw Darkseid, if memory serves. He did a couple of those on the stream with us. And Mark, I know that would make you horny. He's basically just a legend in comic book art. And he was just a really cool guy, to be honest. Mark was talking about how on his webcam, it looked like he was just blazing blunts the entire time because it was super hazy. And I was just like, I mean, he's an older dude. He probably isn't like fucking with the settings on his webcam, but
yeah, making it a phasey, little hazy background. Nope. He's just getting stoned to the gills. Maybe. I respect that. My man.
Did my text help you get the idea for like that S that you drew and showed? It was just a little it was pulled back a little bit from what I initially texted you to do.
Well, you texted me to do the Jonah Hill thing from Superbad, which is just like drawing big, veiny, triumphant dicks. And I obviously wasn't going to do that. But I did do, actually, I think I probably still have it here somewhere.
How funny would it be at the end? They're like, Smithers, what have you been drawing the whole time? We want to see. He's like, all right, I'll let you know in a minute. I'm just finishing this up here.
You weren't the only one.
Dick.
I got texts from a few people that were like, "Well, draw something and just hold it up to the camera." So I put my head down for a minute. And I was sketching, and I came up with this beauty.
Yeah,
the old standard S from third grade by like making a bunch of just marks. Nice.
Absolutely, that is the extent of my artistic ability. But anyways, everybody was super nice. It was a really fun time, and the YouTube video is out there if anybody wants to check it out. But yeah, I've just been insanely privileged to be able to talk to people like that. And not all of 2020 sucked. Like, Mark, having a kid and being able to not have to go to work every day, like go into the office, not that bad.
Yeah.
So I know that
2020 was lit.
You're
An
still
accident.
hurt because you lost all of your money yesterday on your birthday, but
Dude, I lost so much money on my birthday. It's bad.
The birthday betting woes rare.
Dude, it was bad today too.
You're just like slamming beers and betting. Like that's never a good combination.
Well, I also have questions going into this week because week 17 is probably the hardest week to bet in football besides maybe week 1, where every game is a divisional game. So everyone's already played each other once that year. And people are sitting their starters. We don't know who's going to get what playing time. Prop bets are probably a full question mark. Half the teams are playing for something. Half the teams are playing to cuck another team. It's just a mess of a schedule.
But you got to bet on it.
Having said that, I'm betting on every single game. Obviously, 1,000.
For sure betting tomorrow. That's the worst part about it. I never want to hear Clemson again, by the way. Nobody ever say that fucking school's name. Ever.
Can we just agree that Notre Dame never deserves to be in the college football playoffs again? They're such a fucking garbage team, and they always have been. Just because they won a national title like 50 fucking years ago, and Lou Holtz's old Skeletor ass is still crawling out to fucking appear on TV. Dude, just...
They have a mediocre sports movie made about him.
Oh, God. Rudy is not a good movie.
I don't like Rudy.
No,
I'm going to be honest.
And fuck Notre Dame and fuck Lou Holtz. Anyway,
Notre Dame is lame. Is this the first thing we all agree on? Notre Dame being super lame?
You guys want to know something?
The very first thing that we've ever all agreed on.
2021. Look at that. We're turning over a new leaf. Cheers to that, Smithers. Let's go. Dink.
I actually was a Notre Dame fan when I was little for I don't even know what reason. There was really no reason. I think I liked their color scheme. So I started following Notre Dame, and my grandpa looked at me. He's like, "You're not following Notre Dame." He went to Alabama and was on a Rose Bowl team for Alabama. I don't think he played, but he went to Alabama and was like, "You are not a Notre Dame fan." I'm just like, okay, that's fine.
Probably a placeholder.
Yeah. Once you go to an SEC football game, it just changes your entire view on college football. You're like, there's something different in the water down there.
Yeah.
Having said that, I did make my one and only bet on Ole Miss plus 7.5, and they beat them outright. So, whoop.
I have no idea. I don't even know what bowl game that was or whatever.
They played Indiana.
Okay.
Really? You want to know how brutal this today was too, Brick? I bet Kansas for to cover spread of 2.5. They won by 2. They won by fucking 2.
The bad beat.
I love the bad beats. Get them out. Get them out early because this is week 17 is fine to lose. Playoffs is where you want to really start to make the money. That's where
as far as bad beats go, I don't think anything will top that Ravens-Browns game where the safety at the last second helped the Browns cover to 3. That was, first of all, it was an all-time Monday night game, and then also to have them backdoor cover like that was just so shitty.
That was the diarrhea game, right, with Lamar Jackson?
Yeah.
He went to go diarrhea, mud butt, and then he just came out and
shit himself.
Yeah, and then he just came out there slinging the rock and just scored a touchdown and was being a bam.
Mark, did you have a good birthday? You're 30 now, right?
Yes, I'm 30.
Welcome to the club.
30 club.
30 is the best year of my life. Best thing ever.
It's really not bad. Like, you are only as old as you feel that you are.
Well, I feel old as fuck. And yeah, my birthday, it summed up, was just drinking heavily in my basement, watching Clemson lose me a bunch of money.
With your new Batman decanter?
Yeah, I had that there. I guess that's a plus.
That was a sick decanter. I don't know if we have a picture of it, but it was the Batman etched inside of the glass there. It looked nice. Is that a Kelly gift or Nolan to get that for you?
Kelly was like, "Yeah, I hope you like it because I got it from Lebanon from Etsy, and we're not returning it." I'm like, "I like it."
Never gonna be able to return that.
You couldn't get the darker matte version of it.
I could see Mark being like, "Well, this is the wrong year of Batman, the logo. So can we exchange this for the Dark Knight?"
Oh,
they didn't do the Batman Forever logo on one of the glasses.
How many glasses did it come with?
You will see.
Quite a couple here.
I do like that Kelly mixed your obsessions of Batman and alcoholism. Welcome to the club.
So they got the decanter has my favorite bet. bat symbol. And then, yeah, I guess there's 6 other glasses. Pretty sweet.
That's really nice.
It is.
Well done. Well done.
Kelly is a hell of a gift giver. Did you do anything cool, or was it literally just losing all of your money?
That was it. I lost a bunch of money and went to bed.
I thought about sending you like a Drizzly order, and then I was like, then some poor schlub is going to have to hop in his car and go pick up booze and bring it to your house. Next time I see you, I'll hand you a bottle of bourbon. So
okay, cheers.
We can test out that decanter set.
Did you say Schlibly?
Drizzly?
Drizzly. What? Okay, yeah, whatever. Dude.
Unless I had a stroke and said Schlibly for some reason. I don't think so, but
Schlibly is what it should be, because you can't really. It sounds like a drunk word to begin with. Give me some Schlibly.
I'm going to start a competing app with Drizzly called Schlibly.
Rolls off the tongue, honestly.
Why does every app name sound the same? Like, why did none of them have vowels in them, and they just trim it to be shorter, like a Bitly link?
Not enough time, dude. Why would you read all those letters? It's insane. They're number-oriented people.
Enemy. All right, I wanted to ask you guys. I know I probably should have prepped you to ask this ahead of time, but do you guys have favorite moments from the podcast for this year? I can fill some time here, because I think one of the funniest moments that made me laugh the hardest is when Brick called Paul Revere a snitch ass bitch.
Yeah, that was great.
That was a great moment. He is a snitch ass bitch, though. There's no lying. History shows.
British. I mean, it's all about perspective, really. Like, if you're the British, yeah, he's a snitch ass bitch. So while we regard him as a hero, Brick is totally in the right to call him a snitch. Mark, you and I got to talk to another one of mine, and forgive me if I'm stealing this from you, but Donald Faison giving out his personal email on a live chat that we were in with him.
Unreal.
And to see the fallout that came from it, and him just getting thousands of emails was kind of brilliant.
My dad was watching that. It was like, was that staged? I'm like, nope. It's unreal.
Was not staged. He was noticeably upset, and I don't really blame him.
Yeah, I think was this the year that I pulled the hot dog out of my hat, or was that last year?
That was last year, because you were. I think you were here for Christmas last year.
That was the very end or the very beginning of 2020. Either way, okay. Give me some time. Let's save that question for the Chump Academy Award episode. Do we have Do we have that coming up, or what's?
We'll get that in the next couple of weeks. By the way, if someone has suggestions, I want to do a best meme of 2020. There are so many to choose from, so much so that it's hard to whittle them down to like a group of 6. I know that I'm biased towards the recency of it, but the Twisted Tea memes are fucking killing me right now.
Okay, I'm gonna be the worst guy right now. I actually don't know what that's about. Can you explain it to me quickly?
So
I'm just missing out on
the video up. We could have done it, but I'll just kind of I'll relive it here. It's a viral. It went viral like probably last week, where there are 2 men in a convenience store, like a gas station
in Ohio. Right?
The guy that just smacks the fuck out of him.
That's
okay, what happened? Why Twisted Tea?
Well, just because that's what he had, and now it's like the deadliest weapon is Twisted Tea.
I've been hit him with in the head.
Yeah, he just fucking clocked him with it.
And the guy flew back like 3 feet.
Yeah, he ate shit. And by the way, he fucking deserved to.
Right.
The guy was a real piece of shit. One of my favorites was there's a video. I'm going to see if I can try and find this real quick, just because it's so fucking hilarious to me.
I would say that I'll try and fill the time here, but my favorite meme has got to be the Jordan meme of him looking down
personally.
And I took that personally. That was always just for the time. Michael Jordan saved 2020 during that time. It was like nothing was out, no sports. Last Dance. That was epic. Let's go. Plus, it was just so easy to meme.
I got the video here. Are you ready?
Oh my God.
It's only 12 seconds long, so I don't have to pause it or break it down, but
I've been trained in your Jedi arts by Count Dooku.
Jesus.
The popping, the opening of the twisted tea did make it nice.
Funny to me. And there was another one that was John Wick, and he's loading bullets into his clip, but the bullets are little twisted teas.
Oh my god.
It's just endlessly hilarious to me. And like you mix it in with everything else, like all the Mitch McConnell shit, which, by the way, Mitch McConnell's a huge piece of shit. And he's the reason we're all not getting $2,000.
No.
But it's like old Roman style, like he's Julius Caesar and everybody's sneaking up on him with twisted teas in hand. It's such a perfect meme because it's so simple. And I don't know, man. That's probably my favorite of the year.
That's 100% recency bias, but yeah.
Every time you see a new meme, you're just like, yeah, this is the one. This is the one that's going to change humanity, and it never is. But like, remember the beginning of the year when we had all those World War III memes because we were about to go to war with Iran?
Oh my god. Yeah, holy shit.
Like a decade ago, but here we are. The deep drive to left by Castellanos. There's so many to choose from. I think we have to have a
picture of Will Smith. It's knowing why he made this face was terrible because it was about his ex-wife. Oh my god.
Was it his? I thought it was his current wife. Isn't that Jada Pinkett Smith?
Yeah, it is.
Or are they still married?
I think they are.
I think they are too.
Okay.
Didn't they like decide to have an open marriage and she was talking about it?
Yeah.
Man,
I don't know.
that poor guy. But I don't know. I digress. I had a chance today to look back on it, and 2020 wasn't all bad. It was mostly bad, and a lot of people died, and that's terrible. Let's move on to the next year. But there was some good to come from it.
Look at this. Positive spin zones from the Chumpcast 2021. Let's go.
I'm trying, man. Positive vibes only.
One of my favorite moments was talking about the guy that tooted on the watermelons. That was pretty funny.
The COVID idiot who wouldn't put on a mask and his son picked him up and he farted. Yeah.
Yeah. Classic bits.
Rick, you got one, or do I need to come back to you?
Come back to me. I thought the hot dog thing was a lock, but no.
All right, we'll come back to it.
Dude, hold on. Now that I'm thinking about it, this isn't like a funny moment, but it was just an epic moment when we were at C2E2 and I ran over to Dustin Wynn's table and was like, hey, can you come by and do an interview? He's like, yeah, I'll try to make it. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, sure. Thanks. You could have just told me no. And it was like getting towards the end of the day. And all of a sudden we're like just fucking around talking. And we look and Dustin Wynn's just standing there quietly. And we're like, Dustin, what's up? And he's like, yeah, I can do the interview. We're like, all right, let's go. Chuck was like freaking out, like, oh my God, let's go.
C2E2 was an awesome time. I really hope that we're able to get back to conventions this year because I miss that part of my life. And I feel as though now everyone will have a renewed appreciation for being able to like mingle with people who enjoy the same thing. And hopefully we can do it safely. But.
Word.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I sent you guys some trailers.
Mm-hmm.
I will warn all of you ahead of time. Everybody who's listening to this is going to be a very DC news heavy week.
Big Mark week. It's his birthday week. DC heavy week.
I literally planned this around the fact that it was his birthday.
That's it.
Obviously.
Mark, is there any chance the new Superman in this Superman and Lois show is not going to be a boner?
I might be a DC guy, but I fucking hate the CW shit. So yes, it's going to be a big flop. Big boner.
I don't hate it. It's just not super great. Like the Flash is good. Green Arrow was really good for a while. I never got into the whole crossover stuff, but it's not terrible.
It's just a big commitment. Like Green Arrow is what, like 8 seasons, and there's 40 episodes each season.
They're an hour long.
23 episodes every season, and they're all an hour long. It is definitely a commitment, but they are all on Netflix, which is kind of nice. This would be the perfect thing for Netflix to roll out fully the change speed of the thing you're watching, like you do with podcasts. Like if I could watch that at 2x and knock out 2 episodes in an hour, then I'd probably finish what I started. But at this rate, no fucking way.
Yeah, I'm over the CW shows. They're like, I want to watch them, and then I'm just like, I'll just do something else. Fuck this show.
I would rather get like an R-rated Superman type, or even PG-13 kind of like where somebody drops a fuck once an episode.
Yeah.
Outside of this, like white bread bullshit Superman where he's from Kentucky or whatever, and he's just a doofus.
That's just all Superman stories that I've come to know are just like Superman. Oh, I'm just perfect. You have to get this alien kryptonite in order to get me. Okay. You're just boring, dude. Just get out of here. Don't even save me. I'll live the rest of my life under this bus than deal with you, Superman, you boring fuck.
He's the original Mary Sue, like him and Jesus, where there is no, you do no wrong and you always end up winning, I guess, other than the crucifixion part. Maybe I won't do that allegory again, but you get what I mean.
A little dated, but yeah.
About 2,000 years old, but whatever. So nobody's in on the Superman thing. Got it.
Nope. And out.
Did you guys watch the trailer for this Are We Living in a Simulation movie? Because I was highly intrigued.
I'm ready for a documentary. It's been a while, I feel like.
When does that come out? March 5th or something?
So this is actually going to Sundance, which is in February. So it may get a wider release then, but essentially it is what we said, where a documentarian who has done, I didn't write down what he's done, but it's a few things that I've seen. He's basically interviewing philosophers and technology experts that are saying we live in a simulation, which if you live through 2020, I feel as though it's a lot easier to believe now than it was 10 years ago. Just because shit just gets consistently weirder.
And technology itself has grown. Maybe that's us trying to figure out how to break out of the matrix. I'm in for it. Maybe we should get the old Rachel Foley back on here to do a conspiracy episode.
You know what else I listened to? So last podcast on the left does side stories, which is just like news dumps, kind of like our Best Man Alive segments where we just talk about dumb shit. And they were talking about the Nashville bombing, which obviously was horrible. Happened Christmas Day. A man drove an RV down to downtown Nashville, right in front of the AT&T building. If you've been to Nashville, you know where that is. It's like dead city center downtown. It's the huge building. Looks pretty evil, actually, if you've been there. But he parked his RV there and he blew it up. He played an audio clip, like blasted it out like to Downtown, the song from like the 1960s. And it was basically a warning for everybody to clear out. So he was in the RV, but he didn't want to hurt anybody else, apparently. And 2 people were injured. I don't think anybody died. But the conspiracy theories for it are actually interesting because we're going so far beyond the pale in terms of conspiracy theories, like back to the point where it's rational conspiracy theories. Like at first, it started off with people saying, this is people who are mad about 5G and 5G technology and how it's like killing off all your sperm and shit. Which I have a crazy neighbor who believes that too, but that's for another time maybe. But now the conspiracy theory is that AT&T paid this guy to do that so that he could go to this neighborhood, cause a huge scene and a bunch of destruction so that AT&T could come in and buy all this property for a lower price.
Wow, that
basically
makes sense.
Own all of downtown Nashville, right? It makes sense. Like this is an actual feasible conspiracy theory. And I'm not saying it's true because I don't know what the fuck happened. But
I also saw something on Reddit that he was talking about lizard people and like bird people or whatever.
Big lizard people guy. But think about AT&T. AT&T is a international conglomerate. They're buying up everything else. Of course, they would tell this guy, hey, if we're going to make this deal work, you got to make yourself look crazy online because people are going to start looking you up. And once they find you out, you're going to have to make it look like, you were a psychopath.
And the guy killed himself?
Anyways, he did kill himself. Yeah, he killed himself. He was in the RV when it blew up. But
I think it's a conspiracy that fucking 5G is any different than 4G because it's not.
We've had, 2G, 3G have been around for decades. And 5G is no different. But I don't know. I said I wouldn't talk about it. But my neighbor stopped me one day. And he came over to me and he was like, hey, you know that thing? Because I have a utility pole in my yard.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know that satellite on the top? That's a 5G satellite. I was like, okay. He's like, well, when they put that in, they installed it, and I had to call the city because it was interfering with my my clicker for my car, like his key fob to get into his car, which absolutely was not the case. Like that's not even close to the same frequency that those things would be on. But he's like, you need to call the city and tell them to take that down. I'm like, yeah, man, I'll get right on that. I'll fucking for sure do that.
This was your neighbor?
He's like 3 or 4 doors down.
Okay.
But I don't like that he knows where I live and that he doesn't like something that is in my yard.
Yeah, 3 to 4 doors down is off limits. Next door, you can maybe complain. But 3 to 4 doors down, mind your damn business.
Yeah. Anyway, he's a crazy guy. Where were we? Oh yeah, we're living in a simulation. No big deal.
Swag.
How about a movie that we will actually watch, which is coming to Amazon Prime, and that is Coming to the number 2 America. Are you guys Coming to America fans? The original with Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall?
Saw it a long time ago.
Yeah, that's always on. It's hard to not catch it on.
It's an all-time classic comedy. It has a distinct possibility of becoming Anchorman 2 type thing, where it's just like you retread all the same jokes, because they've still got Eddie and Arsenio doing the full makeup where they're either old or fat or whatever. It's like Nutty Professor, the Clumps style shit. So my question to you, and Brick, I'll start with you. Do you think that Amazon Prime is stepping up their game? Because they've been getting more movies like this recently. Like I can think of
Borat 2,
The Sound of Metal, a few other bigger movies. Are they stepping up their game, or is this movie just going to be bad and that's why it's going to Amazon Prime?
I am seeing Amazon kind of picking out particular movies that would be cash cows for sequels that don't really need too much in terms of like money to make. Like for this movie, Arsenio Hall and Eddie Murphy are playing multiple roles. They've done it before. They already have a big following, a big cult following. Same thing with Borat. Borat was like, you have one actor. I mean, you have 2 actors really, and they're just doing ridiculous stunts. It seems like they're doing these kind of low risk, high reward movies, and I'm here for it.
Mark, what do you think?
I'm with Brick. I think I wouldn't say they're taking the easy route, but maybe it's the smarter route where they're not investing so much time into starting these new movies or series or whatever, and they're kind of just doing what has worked in the past. So I mean, I'm all for it. I have to go back and rewatch Coming to America.
Yeah, I bet there's a lot of jokes that I missed when I was younger that I would really appreciate much more now.
Absolutely, and it still holds up. It's still a very fun movie, and a lot of the cultural fish out of water type things, those jokes hold up. So absolutely go rewatch that. I'm kind of torn on whether or not this will be good. I'm really happy to see Eddie Murphy back. You know, he did that Dolomite movie, which was amazing and so good. This is a different type of comedy. So I'm kind of tenuous on the outcome for this, but I'm still going to watch it, and I hope for the best.
Do you think Amazon Prime is going to get into? Sorry, go ahead.
Amazon isn't necessarily like Netflix, where they do have a production studio, but they don't throw the type of money that Netflix does. So they're more so buying outside movies a la Sound of Metal and doing stuff like that, as opposed to Netflix, who is writing, producing, hiring writers and directors and shit to make stuff on payroll. What'd you say, Mark?
I was going to say, does Amazon Prime have a stand-up section? Are they buying stand-ups, or are they specifically owning certain artists for stand-ups, or what are they doing?
Most notably, they signed Jim Gaffigan to a big stand-up deal. I think he's done 2 that were only airing on Amazon Prime. So that's kind of their, hey, the chips are being pushed in the middle. We're going in on stand-up. Like Jim Gaffigan has a huge audience worldwide, so that makes sense. Netflix has Chappelle and a few others. So
Jerry Seinfeld, Tom Segura, Bert Kreischer.
If and when Eddie Murphy does his return stand up. How much money is that shit gonna make, dude, when it drops? Oh my god.
I mean, his Delirious is still my favorite stand-up special of all time. It's unbelievably funny, and some of it's kind of dated, and he says some things that are now really offensive. But if you can kind of look at it from the prism of the 1980s, and he's wearing a complete leather jumpsuit, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
So
mine is definitely Dave Chappelle. Probably Killing Him Softly.
Yeah.
Just an absolute.
You got a favorite? Mark?
Chef's kiss.
One
favorite stand-up?
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know, dude. I love Tom Segura. I don't know, something about like when he hits the punchline. I just think like his type of comedy is just hilarious.
He's got good delivery, except for when he delivers a basketball to a basketball hoop, because then he tab traders it and breaks his arm.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that video?
He's a great follow on Instagram, and for some reason lately, McLaren has been giving him cars to test drive. And he's been posting about it on his Instagram. I don't know why. He's one of my favorite stand-ups that's currently doing it. I think he's absolutely hilarious. And you're right, because he's got a lot of stand-ups right now are just super in your face intense, and he's just like laid back. Even his punchlines are just like, yeah, so I told her to go fuck herself.
It's
just hilarious.
He's got great delivery. That's for damn sure.
His wife's funny too, Christina Pazitsky. They're both stand-ups. They do a podcast that is really funny, but also very dirty. So if you're not into that, stay away from that.
Old School Aziz was hilarious. It was an absolute riot. Then he went and got like the last 2 or 3 got like too political for me. And there was a lot of down and up. It wasn't as like consistently funny as Dangerously Delicious.
It's funny that you say that, because you're such a Chappelle fan, and all of his stand-up is basically politically charged. I guess it depends on whether you bifurcate race and politics, but you probably shouldn't, because they're kind of the same. I get what you mean though. Aziz kind of changed his comedy style, so that's a drop in there in the chat from Panda Claus. What's up, Panda?
And even though he needed to address it, like him talking about the allegations against him was kind of rough when he came back and did his first stand-up on Netflix or whatever it was.
Yeah, but he addressed it. Just like Louis C.K. addressed his.
He needed to do it, but it was just like,
that,
still, he was just like, oh, okay.
Like Kevin Hart addressing cheating on his wife. And like, we're in a weird time for stand-up where everything's a scandal. Everything gets publicized eventually. So I don't envy being in that position.
Stand-up is got to be a very tough profession to be in at this point, especially with everyone being politically correct, and comparatively to how stand-up was previously, like how you were saying with Eddie Murphy, how some of it wouldn't fly nowadays. But now you really got to be careful and choose wisely. But it's also, the pendulum could be swinging back the other way eventually. But
we'll see. It'll never swing as far as it did.
Correct.
But it's just it's a very charged climate either way. So let's move on, shall we? Mark, speaking of movies that make you horny, the trailer for The Little Things, and this is starring 3 Oscar winners, which, okay, Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto. I could argue that 2 of those do not deserve Oscars, but whatever. What's not to like about this other than Jared Leto?
Jared Leto in Dallas Buyers Club does not deserve an Oscar for Best Supporting Role, even though he literally won like every fucking award that was out that year. For that
we can't continuously shit on the Oscars and the Golden Globes and all that for being fart sniffers, and then be like, oh, they all said it was good, so it had to be good.
Fine, but dude, won the MTV Movie Award that year too for that role. So there, all right.
You know that for a fact, or you just pulling it out of your ass?
I'm pretty sure he did. I can look it up though.
Anyways, this is a weird-looking crime thriller. I got a real True Detective type vibe from it, because it seems super dark and maybe a little gothic in the writing. But Jared Leto is probably a murderer, and Denzel Washington is a cop with possibly a checkered past. And Denzel works with Rami Malek, who is the local detective on the case. And this looks pretty fucking good, to be honest with you.
Right. And also Rami Malek is just the way he looks in general. It just seems like it's going to be you don't know if he's straight laced or if he's just playing the straight laced just because of his previous roles. Personally, I there's just something off about him that has me curious about this movie. Also, I love the cat and mouse kind of between Denzel and Jared Leto that they have in the trailer. Denzel just sitting there like a cop, badass aviators chilling. He's talking shit to Jared Leto. Jared Leto's giving it right back to him. Cat and mouse at its finest. I'm looking forward to this one.
Mark, you compared it to Prisoners with Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, mainly because of like there's an interrogation scene in there, which isn't. I mean, the Prisoners interrogation scene, which really wasn't like it wasn't a cop interrogating him. It was the fucking dad in the bathroom, and that was one of the most intense scenes ever when he had the hammer. But it just gave me those vibes, you know, just this creepy guy they're going after, and they can't pin him to the murder, but he knows so much about what happened, but he's not saying anything. So it kind of reminded me of that.
When was the last time you guys saw that? Because I feel like it might change your perspective now that you guys both have children of your own.
Boy, I don't know that I could go back and watch it. Like I know I already watched the podcast, but they're doing a dive on Rock Terrio, who was basically a cult leader, and he did a lot of terrible things to children, young children. And I was just like, I had to turn it off. I couldn't listen to it.
Yeah, brutal.
Like, apparently, he took a toddler, stripped him naked, and like made him roll around outside in the snow. Like that is so fucked up.
Yeah, it's kind of like that Sleepers movie.
That was about where I turned it off. So
yeah, that makes sense. Dark.
Yeah, and that I just brought down the vibe. So here we go.
Yeehaw.
Hey, Smithers, Jared Leto won best on-screen transformation at the MTV Movie Awards for Dallas Buyers Club in 2014. He also was nominated in 2017 for best villains in Suicide Squad. Best villain.
Oh my God. Are you fucking kidding me?
No, he didn't win though, unfortunately. He was nominated though.
I would love to know who won that year. I don't know if you have that in front of you, but whoever it was definitely deserved it over Jared Leto.
Okay.
Anyways, while you're looking that up, we'll move on to the actual news outside of trailers. About 2 days, actually about 2 hours, Mark, after we got off air last week with Joe from Guy at the Movies, and we shit all over Wonder Woman 2, it was announced that Patty Jenkins is coming back for Wonder Woman 3. So she says this is going to be her last entry into the Wonder Woman franchise. Apparently it opened internationally because internationally you can go to movie theaters right now, and it did about $85 million. You know what? I actually had streaming numbers as well. So maybe I'll try and pull that up. But Mark, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I'm not going to talk shit about her directing abilities because Wonder Woman 1 was fine. It wasn't my favorite.
I thought it was fantastic.
It had some of my favorite DC EU moments with No Man's Land and like that sniper scene and all that. It had some great sequences. So not going to shit on her for that. We didn't like Wonder Woman 2. Brick, I don't know. You weren't on that episode.
Rick, I said skip it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I didn't say skip it. I said save it.
Yeah.
Because it's a desolate wasteland of movies that are out there and content currently. And when you factor in the times, I just thought the relationship between Chris Pine and Gal Gadot was good. I like that relationship. They have a nice little tandem.
Even though underlying knowing the relationship during that movie, who that guy really was, that didn't weird you out at all?
Yeah, I was like, bleh, and then I was like, man, I'm over it. I don't care because I like Chris Pine. I'm happy they got him back into the movie. I think it would have been a disservice if they didn't bring him back, even if it was weird and wonky because of a wish. I think if it was because of a wish, it should have been like they shouldn't have had the guy be turned into just some random dude. I agree, but that's neither here nor there. Kristen Wiig also had fantastic running form as Cheetah, so shout out to her.
Let her finish the trilogy. I mean, I'm for it. It's fine.
If you're gonna play a character named Cheetah, you better have good running form.
No shit.
All right, so I got some numbers on this. HBO Max, they did well based on the Wonder Woman debut. They had over 500,000 users sign up from Friday to Sunday, which was last weekend. with a record of almost $250,000 on Sunday alone. However, the measuring stick for that was Disney Plus, where over the same period they had 2.3 million downloads, which is just eclipsing HBO Max.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was because Soul came out or if it was like given as a gift or what. I think Soul has a much broader appeal being a Pixar movie than Wonder Woman does, but what do I know? I'm just speculating.
I'm just gonna say one thing. How funny would it be if Maggie Grace played Cheetah? That's that girl who was the daughter in Taken, who runs like a full-on jabroni,
Like a Muppet. Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, what if they just put Tom Cruise in as Cheetah?
And his fake butt from that Nazi movie.
Oh yeah.
Gal Gadot also ran wonky. I know she was running like super fast or whatever, but she just did. It looked weird. Her form.
All of the like the cable work, like the aerial work in that movie looked bad. I don't know why, it just did.
I mean, you guys also made some really good points after the fact that was like, yeah, what about why did she never do the invisible rope or the invisible jet later on?
You know,
Something like that. We won't get into it.
I was mad for talking about like, you know, the guy who Chris Pine takes over for. I was mad for us shitting on that because there were so many think pieces written this week on all these shitty movie websites just talking about like how that was so wrong and they did that guy dirty. Like, I wish we had never discussed it because it warrants exactly one sentence and then just move the fuck on. It doesn't require a 5,000 word shitty think piece article for you to delve into.
How they did that guy dirty? Like what? They just like took his soul for 20 minutes and then, or for like
took his body for a couple of days.
Right.
Which who cares? It's a fake character. Nobody's mad about that. But
yeah, he's begging Gal Gadot, get over it, audience. He's doing fine.
At the very end, he's like talking to her. It was like, oh yeah, I guess I forgot about my grandma for the last 3 days. I was like in a coma or something. So she unfortunately passed away. But other than that, my Christmas has been okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Saturday? Where the fuck did the days go? Jesus Christ.
I think he remembers Tuesday.
Coke bender because it's the 80s.
Yeah, right.
And now I'm dressed like a fucking loser with a loose scarf and like silk shirt. Dork.
All white. So terrible. All right.
I guess he's a huge like Hallmark actor or Lifetime. One of those.
A daytime soap opera guy and also Hallmark. But yeah, it's like he's not a nobody. So, all right. I don't know if this went through in the notes that I sent you guys, but basically, this pseudo news website tweeted out that HBO Max's Peacemaker, so the John Cena TV show, was going to be was going to have a broadcast run on the CW, and James Gunn basically laughed at it and said, "There's zero chance because if we had to trim it for broadcast television, we'd have about 40 seconds left." Which basically means that it's going to be hard R, and John Cena is going to be saying "fuck" every other word, which I am absolutely here for.
If you look up Peacemaker HBO, Smithers, do me a favor and look that up. And there's like 4 pictures. One of them is John Cena being huge, bamf. The second one is just a picture, just says "fuck." It's Peacemaker. That's like the promo.
Yep, I see it. That is this is on Deadline, so it's not.
Wait, I don't see anything.
Peacemaker HBO. Fuck, it's Peacemaker.
Yeah. So yeah, this is not going to CW.
I still don't see anything.
Thank God.
Because you can't see him.
Oh, that was a good one.
Was it?
I'm done.
Was it a good
I'm
one?
letting myself out.
About that?
Done.
Anyways, I'm going to stop my screen share there. That's cool. That's it. That's all I got to say. Let's move on to this next news bit. So Ray Fisher is still railing against WB and namely Walter Hamada, who is like the head of their film division. So if you remember, Ray Fisher came out when they were filming Justice League and talked about how shitty the basically the work environment was, where there was some discriminatory things being said and done, and they treated the actors like shit. And now he's come out and his quote was, Walter Hamada is the most dangerous kind of enabler. His lies and Warner Brothers PR failed in this hit piece that they wrote about him. They sought to undermine the very real issues of the Justice League investigation, and he says, I will not participate in any production associated with them. So he is out as Cyborg. He doesn't want to do it anymore.
Does that mean out as the Snyder cut Cyborg too?
That's already shot. So unless they're
they have the rights to that.
Yeah. I mean, what he was in like 10% of that movie?
Yeah. So
he's not focal, and I can't imagine that he would have gone back and redone that anyways. But I just found it interesting that he good for him for sticking to his guns and fuck WB, because DC keeps fucking up. But yeah,
was this all about Jeff Johns? Is this what this is all about, or no? Or are we past that now?
No, it's the director took over for Snyder. Joss Whedon. Thank you. And what a shitbag he was on set, basically. So
okay, gotcha.
That's it. I just wanted to point out that he's not going to be doing Cyborg again.
Interesting.
So, the other bit of news from DC in the DC stays fucking up realm of things, the British tabloid The Sun has reported that director Matt Reeves, who is doing the Batman, has been forcing his crew to do upwards of 50 takes for each scene, and Robert Pattinson and the rest of the crew are exhausted.
Is that a lot?
Maybe Robert Pattinson should have actually hit the gym.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. If he's doing a lot of those calisthenics, aka beating ass, naturally he'd be tired.
Still excited.
Do you give any credence to the idea that they'll run two concurrent Batmans, like the Ben Affleck Batman and the Robert Pattinson Batman, Mark?
I don't think they will. No. Maybe an alternative Batman, like a Flashpoint Batman.
Well, they already kind of are going to do there's going to be two different Jokers, I guess, in that Joaquin Phoenix is technically not going to show up in any of these universes, and there will probably be another Joker, and hopefully it's not Heath Ledger.
Wow.
Jared Leto.
Hopefully, I wish it was Heath Ledger, but it will be Jared Leto, unfortunately. What if a year apart they released two different Batmans with two different complete stories in two different universes? You're okay with that?
I'd be fine with that, because they're not. I mean, if they keep Robert Pattinson as Batman right now, they're not going to be able to tie him into the Joaquin Phoenix, universe, because it's not going to work. He's just an older, even though it's like his origin story, which is still kind of weird to me. Well, I guess Joker really didn't have an age. He wasn't that young when he became Joker in Killing Joke, if we're going to think back to that. But it's just going to be weird if you have an older Batman. I guess you can go both ways, but Robert Pattinson is not going to be in that Joaquin Phoenix Joker universe.
It's a weird thought, and I'm sure I'd be fine with it, because give me more Batman, but still, it's not the greatest of ideas. Maybe.
Yeah. Let's have a different character. Let's do something else. Let's do Batwing. Do something different.
Do Hawkman and Hawkgirl or something. Do something different.
Darkhawk. I don't give a fuck.
Fucking change. Yeah.
That's
We the best.
the worst. She's the worst person in the world. Huge skank, terrible. But thank you.
It is kind of funny how much Batman just permeates pop culture and everything. Like, I'm thinking back to when we were doing the drink and draw this week. So we took requests from people who bought tickets, and I would say at least half of them were Batman drawings.
Wow.
Like from different eras or in different styles, and they were all gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. It was just like, all right, everybody loves Batman. And
that one guy did Swamp Thing, and that was amazing. That was really cool.
That was Gabriel Hardman, and he was doing some gorgeous artwork. He drew Mon Calamari, which is basically Admiral Akbar from Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
His shading and everything was so insane. It was gorgeous work, but I digress. My best man alive is a gentleman who is apparently also obsessed with Batman. And let me pull up my screen share right here. Mark, if you could have one of Batman's gadgets, what do you think it would be?
That's hard. Grapple gun or batarang? Probably grapple gun.
The correct answer is the grapple gun. And here's a GIF of a guy on YouTube. So this is the YouTube channel Built IRL, and he built a Batman style grapple gun
made out of Legos. Holy shit!
I mean, if you watch this video, first of all, the thing's huge. Like, you realize how difficult the physics of this are, because you actually have to be yanked up by your arm, and also he's only going up like 15 feet. He's not like Batmaning it going up 150 feet, like on the top of a building or some shit. This is still pretty fucking cool. So this guy's name is JT, and he did a 5-part YouTube series on building this grappling gun that just hooks onto his arm. The motor is out of an electric skateboard.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just endlessly fascinated by stuff like this, like stuff that people will pull out of nowhere. Like, who is thinking like, yeah, fuck yeah, I could do a fucking grapple gun like Batman. This is gonna be cool.
Motor is pulling him up.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, this is pulling him up. This GIF on a loop is just like, there's no other wires there.
He doesn't look like a small guy either.
No,
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, like my fat ass probably would not be able to be pulled up by this, but I'm still impressed.
I'm looking like when you pulled this up, I was like, what a nerd. And now I'm like, keep seeing him on a loop doing it. I'm like, that'd be kind of sick.
And yeah, now you're like, send me that link, bro.
Does he sell any of these? Fuck.
So that is my best man alive. This is JT from the Built IRL YouTube channel.
That's cool. Good job, JT.
Brick, what do you got?
I had one, but it looks like Mark has already taken that one, so I'll go to my
really?
backup here. Yeah, the Wisconsin Badgers.
Worst team alive?
Best team, because they made it. I'll let you do it. I'm just going to do worst man alive. Florida man accused of setting his own truck on fire to give deputies something to do. So,
like Florida.
All right. So I'm just going to read this article to you. A Florida man sent his own truck on fire because he wanted to give the deputies something to do. And basically what he did was, he's 28 years old. Kevin Murphy immediately admitted to starting the fire once the cops came. So the cops came, like, what? Hey, buddy, that's on me. That's on me. So then he was placed in handcuffs, and they asked him why he did it. He said he wanted to give the sheriff's office and himself an early Christmas present. So he set his truck on fire.
So give him something to do, meaning, like, wouldn't the cops just call the fire department? This isn't their problem to handle. And why did they arrest him? They knew he lit it on fire. Were they like watching this guy just like light his fucking car on fire, or was it already on fire?
I love that you're trying to apply logic to a Florida man who is probably like
on
8
meth,
crystals of meth deep.
Yeah.
And just freebasing heroin and shit. And you're just like, what was he thinking?
Bath salts, looking for the second strain of coronavirus. Just
somebody's face.
Jeez, so he was placed in handcuffs, and when deputies searched him, they found a glass pipe used to smoke methamphetamine in his pocket, and a folded up dollar bill with traces of meth in his wallet. So
you don't say.
Yeah.
Don't say.
Yeah, Fruit Loop Dingus, worst man alive. I also do have this other prank that I saw that I thought was pretty interesting. Let me pull it up here really quickly. But so it's this. A guy puts shoe marks on his neighbor's car. Classic bit.
Okay.
And the neighbor shoots him.
Yeah.
Oh, and then he pisses on the windshield.
And then he puts water on the center of the guy's windshield. So it looks like someone stood on his car and just took a piss. Like 2 perfectly made shoe imprints. This prank is probably going to go, it should go viral because it's freaking hilarious.
I've seen quite a few of those. So I'm pretty sure it has gone viral.
Good.
And that is definitely something that you would do to me. And I would probably threaten to choke you out for.
He would go too far. Right. He would reverse the shoe prints and then take a shit and just put it on your foot.
It's like, he gets like a litter box or something. I'm just like, poker, and it's clearly catch it, but I still beat him to death.
But no, you were missing the joke, Smithers. I didn't go on your car and take a shit. I just put my footprints on there and put a shit on there, dude.
And then I end up in prison for the rest of my life. And he comes to visit me, and he picks up the phone, and I pick up the phone, and he goes, "Gotcha."
The long con.
As he's visiting you in prison, I come in
and punch my family.
Yeah, somebody comes up with a PB&J, and as you're about to grab it for your first bite, I just come in and just fucking boom, hammer it with a
shiv you. I would shiv you prison style.
Finally, a good meal, a good sandwich.
Haven't had a sandwich in years.
It's like my wife visits me in prison for the first time in 6 months because I've been in the hole.
My wife. Yeah.
Solitary confinement, and Mark comes in. He gets arrested on like a misdemeanor and ends up in prison for 24 hours. And he just specifically to come and punch my cake.
Be brilliant.
It's me in a wig, in a dress, and I'm turned around.
No. It's
Erica,
you.
Face me. Why won't you face me? And then I just turn around. Fucking punch the family.
You looking like Woody Harrelson at the end of Venom in the fucking Carnage wig. And I walk into the cell, and you're my cellmate, and you punch my cake. Oh God.
Right. Lastly, Trevor Lawrence is just getting just had a bad week. First, he gets absolutely demolished by Ohio State, which previously.
Let's not talk about it. Yeah.
Debo gave Ohio State just so much bulletin board material. They don't deserve to be here. They've only been here 6 wins. Whatever. Then a reporter thinks that they're muted after the post game of that game, and says that he needs to shave his mustache, which is the smallest mustache of all time. And then the moderator's like, "Can we all mute our mics while we're talking to people?"
Ooh, oh,
you guys didn't see that?
That makes me feel awkward for someone. Oh God, I hate that so much. Like the secondhand embarrassment. Oh, that's the worst feeling.
I'll try and find the video while Mark does his, and maybe we can kind of bring that one up. And then lastly, Adam Schefter, of course, tweeted out last week or 2 weeks ago, "Oh, it's locked in. Trevor Lawrence wearing a Jaguars uniform." Then he gets clobbered by Ohio State. All of a sudden, it's Justin Fields in that first pick, Mark. So, having a bad week. And he got
Trevor Lawrence drafted first.
Yeah, he also got crushed in the game too. Like the biggest hit ever didn't get called, but it was probably shouldn't have been called. He just got crushed. So he just had 4 bad things. Just wonk, wonk, wonk. Peace.
Bad day. It was a bad day for football in general.
Week.
Panda Claus is talking in the chat about how he would love to see the Chumpcast movie, and he wants to know who would play us. Obviously, I would want Danny DeVito to play me because obviously.
Danny DeVito on stilts.
No, just Danny DeVito.
Okay. Just so crushingly boring.
I think Adam Sandberg would be great as me.
Andy Sandberg?
No, Adam, his brother. We ran out of budget. We ran out of budget for Mark's characters. We had to get Adam Sandberg to play.
he's Andy Sandberg's bald brother.
He's definitely bald.
Just me in the fucking, as we're casting people, just they're doing their lines. I'm like, all right, Adam, that was great. Dick. We'll give you a call. Maybe.
You're perfect. You have a bald brother?
Yeah. Oh shit, dude.
No, you don't even do it. You don't even do interviews or auditions. You're just like, oh, Adam Sandberg? Let's lock it in. He's definitely me. Just the wrong guy, 100%.
All right, Mark. Who's your best man alive?
It's worst team alive. I don't know why they'd be the best team alive. This is pretty brutal what they did. So those
champions adjust.
Can you go ahead and go into our private comments and pull up that video real quick?
I have it right here.
The Wisconsin Badgers dropped the fucking trophy and shattered it, which I've never seen before.
So they're all dancing badly, and he just woofed. I got to say, though, they were playing in the Mayo Bowl.
Yeah.
Honestly, who gives a shit?
No, if you go to the very end of that video, they duct taped actual mayonnaise on top of it. Now it's the best Mayo Bowl thing ever. Champions adjust. Like I said, look at that.
Where did they get mayo that's that quickly?
Oh, it's probably just power moves. Someone's like, get me some mayo. Stat. We're champions of the Mayo Bowl. They probably had mayo on deck if it's the Mayo Bowl. Come on.
I guess that's fair. But the Mayo Bowl, like who the fuck? Why is Big Mayonnaise sponsoring a bowl game? What the fuck is this?
Dude, Hellman's has a fucking vice grip out there, dude.
I guess. At least make it the ketchup bowl. Ketchup is better than mayo.
Ah,
There is no way you're going to sit there and tell me that mayo is better than ketchup.
dude, deviled eggs. They're
Dude, ketchup is
fantastic.
so much more diverse.
Zach Galifianakis.
Galfanix.
Should
Yep.
good casting though. I like that.
So I'll have Adam Sandberg and Zach Galifianakis.
That's perfect because
I'm honored. My name is
Brick, that's probably what you would call Zach Galifianakis.
dude.
Yeah.
Pronounce
I
it.
want Timothy Oliphant.
Timothy Chalifant and
Chalifant.
Zach Galifianakis. That's something that you would call both of them. So
And Adam Sandberg.
and Adam Sandberg. God damn it. Oh fuck! This is probably my
Adam Sandberg rolls off the tongue better than Andy Sandberg.
Are you sure about that?
Adam Sandberg. I like it better.
Whatever. Let's move on.
Whoa.
What are you woeing at, Brick?
Before we get to the movie review, I wanted to bring up a little contest between you two. Do you guys intrigued?
Let's
So
hear
I
it.
got this Blockbuster game. Blockbuster Movies, a movie game for anyone who's ever seen a movie. So, guys, I think you guys have seen some movies. I think we should do a little contest here. I'll read quick rules, just like a quick one. It'll take 30 seconds.
This is movie trivia. Do we really want to expose ourselves being a movie podcast and probably getting a lot of these wrong?
Movie podcast. I think what we do, Brick, because you and I talked about this, and we absolutely should do this on an episode, but we got to have a test run first.
This is the test run, and I have it's a quick, easy. It's easy, quick, and easy.
Do it live on an
The
episode.
first, it's very easy.
Whatever.
The first player to think of a movie with, let's say, so we're gonna do a head-to-head. You guys are gonna pick. There's a topic. For example, that topic is dogs or movies with a dog in it.
I love dog.
Exactly. So then you go back and forth for 30 seconds or so, and whoever loses, it's like catchphrase. So if it lands on you and you can't think of the movie, you have to give a very sincere compliment to Ryan or Mark.
Oh God, that's gonna be
The worst punishment of all time.
To be in the audience for, because we're gonna stumble and somebody's gonna be like, "You're an idiot," and think of something immediately.
To be fair, we are idiots.
True.
Okay.
So with this movie, there's a bit of a school element where they're like teaching, these little young souls how to be. There's like a mentoring stage. So as just a stretch, I was looking through the cards. 30 seconds. Let me time this up real quick.
We're just naming movies with this.
You're just naming movies with this specific scenario. I'm going to start it out here before I can get my timer going. We got 30 seconds. Stopwatch. Movies.
If the movie actually has this thing in it.
I do. I'll be the guy who judges. If you can argue it.
Great. What could go wrong?
If you can argue it, I'll allow it. I'm a very lenient judge.
All
right. Movies set in a school.
Billy Madison.
Point for Smithers.
Set in a school.
Spider-Man. Set in a school or
Anywhere. Any setting for school. Movies with the school.
Super bad.
Perfect. That's Mark.
fuck.
Wait, is it? It's back and forth. It's
Back and forth. Whatever it lands on. We'll do a minute. Breakfast Club.
Easy A.
What's that move? Fuck.
That's 30 seconds.
Good time stamp.
Yeah, Mark is struggling. All right. Well, now you have to give.
Ridgemont High is what you were looking for, Mark.
Damn it.
Oh, that's a great one. School of Rock.
Why didn't I just say fuck?
Rock's a good one.
I'm an idiot. Okay. Let's do one more. One more round. Let me redeem
It's
myself.
on like what's Van Wilder? Van Wilder 2, The Rise of Taj.
Okay.
Bruh. Man, Claus is like, bruh. 21 Jump Street.
21 Jump Street. Yeah, once you kind of get the hang of it, you're like, oh, and then you start rolling off movies.
It's easy when you're not on camera, under pressure, on a timer.
Thinking about the fucking money you lost yesterday still from sports betting. God damn it. All right.
Slightly inebriated, yeah.
Maybe we'll do so. Let's hear your ultimate compliment to Smithers, Mark.
Why would I compliment him? We're not done.
Because you lost.
Oh boy.
We got one more round. Let's do it.
It's a compliment per round.
Oh, it is.
You ugly piece of shit.
I like the pocket on your flannel shirt there.
Wow, that's so insincere.
Okay, so now you need to do a sincere one. Next one. Movies with robots. 30 seconds.
iRobot.
Fuck. Hold on.
Are you kidding me?
Chris, you can think of a single movie with robots?
Get to the chopper.
Yeah, Terminator.
Wall-E.
Oh, that's a good one. Damn, I'm failing right now.
Yeah, you really are.
Wow, dude. Prometheus.
Robots.
He's a robot.
RoboCop. RoboCop 2. RoboCop 3. That's 32 seconds. You fucking suck at this.
Yeah, Mark. Wow, you are fucking terrible.
Way more than just a compliment.
Now we need everybody else in the audience to just give the actual movies that they were yelling at their TV screen.
Jesus Christ. All right. That is terrible.
That was bad.
Everybody in the chat right now is shitting on you, Mark.
Let's hear the compliment.
Guys, give me a break. All right. It's been a long fucking day. It
That's-
was my birthday yesterday, assholes.
The losing streak continues for Mark. All right, everybody fade his. What are your picks next week or tomorrow? Because I'm going to fade your ass hard.
Who's this party pug coming in? You want to punch my sandwich? All right, let's go. Game time.
I'm here for Party Pug versus Mark. Let's
Mark,
go.
I think you owe me another compliment.
A sincere one this time. It's very nice. 2021. Let's go. Let's start off in a nice.
I just saw that other pocket.
No.
And it looks great.
Redacted. Nope. Redacted.
I can see you haven't gotten a haircut in a while, and it doesn't look that bad.
Wow.
I'll allow it. It's looking pretty good hair. Good hair. Good head of hair.
The haircut, and it does look bad.
Okay.
Let's get to the movie review.
Yeah. Sorry to play the drop. We won't do that again. But our movie review for this week is Soul. I'm sorry. That felt mean. I didn't mean to be that mean, Mark. I love you, and you know that. I actually texted you both on New Year's Eve, I think, or Christmas, and I told you both that I loved you because I do truly love you both. As much as I care from you, I love you guys.
I responded as well. Love you guys too. You guys are the best.
Yeah.
I remember a couple episodes of us doing this, and she's like, "Do you guys even like each other?" I'm like, "Yeah, you just don't get it. Like, you're not a younger guy. This is just how we show affection towards each other by shitting at each other constantly."
The more you make fun of, if you truly make fun of somebody, you actually like him. Because otherwise, in this day and age, you can't be mean to anybody, or else you're a fucking dick fuck asshole.
Exactly, dick fuck asshole. If you can't make fun of someone, that means that you guys are not friends.
100%.
So there you go. Anyways, our Soul review. So this is currently at 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I think is a bit extreme. 89% from fans. I guess we'll just kind of go over the synopsis for this real quick. So Joe is a musician who kind of has lost his way, lost his passion maybe a little bit for music. He's been kind of disenfranchised because he hasn't gotten the gigs that he thought he deserved. And he ends up teaching middle school band, which sounds like the worst fucking thing ever, by the way. But he gets a call from one of his former students, and it's his dream gig, dream tryout, and he goes and he crushes it, and he's living on cloud 9, and he leaves this tryout, and he immediately steps and falls into a manhole and dies. He's transported out of his body, and now he has to find a way back to the ethereal plane, the real world, with the help of a cynical infant soul played by Tina Fey, learning about herself. Does that cover it?
Thoroughly. Yeah. I didn't know that was Tina Fey.
Yeah. So Tina Fey is soul number 22. Jamie Foxx is Joe, our main character, who, by the way, I know I fawn over him constantly, but he might be like the most talented person out there right now. Like him, Justin Timberlake, in terms of like singing, acting, comedy, he's probably more talented. I mean, The Rock, I guess, does some singing and stuff, and he's hilarious. He's just supremely talented, and I love him in everything that he does.
Spider-Man 2.
He's so good. So this is directed by a guy named Pete Docter, but the Doctor is spelled Docter. He's been he's a Pixar guy through and through. Ratatouille, Wall-E, Up, Toy Story 3, Cars 2, Monsters University, Inside Out. He's been in a ton of this shit. He's done voices. He's done a little bit of writing for him. He wrote the original stories for Monsters, Inc., Toy Story, and Wall-E. So he's definitely like, he's the Pixar guy. And he's supposed to executive produce the Lightyear movie that we talked about previously, where Chris Evans is going to be the real life version of the person that Buzz Lightyear is based upon. Mm-hmm. So there you go. He also was the EP on Onward, which was, I think, Mark, you published our lists this week. I think Onward was my second favorite movie of the year.
One movie that made me cry.
It's fucking brilliant. I loved it. And yeah. Give me your high level thoughts, Brick.
Asking for a lot there, but yeah, I really liked this movie. I didn't cry like you guys did. I didn't think it was that sad by any means. Yeah, you did. He cried a little baby. Cried by B. Anyway, the voice acting was great. The fish out of water when 22 kind of comes in to the frame there into the fold was enjoyable. I think the best part about the movie was the score. It was lighthearted, endearing, and also fun, whimsical, like every Pixar movie, but they did a fantastic job with it. Great story, good overall lessons in the movie itself, but yeah, boom.
Okay. Mark, what about you?
I think the lesson was one of the better lessons to come out of a Pixar movie. The more I think about it, the whole fact of, hey, don't spend too much time pursuing something, every single day, when you should honestly just take a step back and really enjoy the people that are around you and the experiences you have every day. And everyone has that spark, but that doesn't mean it should consume your whole life. So I like that lesson. I actually disagree with you on the score, Brick. I think that's where they lacked. This whole movie was supposed to be, about him as a jazz teacher and wanting to be a successful jazz artist. And yes, they were in the club and there were short scenes where he was playing the piano, and that was great. But I really wish there was like one or two more songs where you could be like, oh, that's the song from Soul. Because I can't say at the ending when he's looking at the stuff that 22 appreciated, like the bite out of the pizza and the little leaf thing that fell. And he's like, oh my God, what have I been doing with my life? Just fucking wanting to get to this point, and it means nothing now. And when he started playing, I was like, all right, I hope they do this for like another 3 minutes and like make this a whole song, and make it one of those top Pixar songs. And it just never got to that point. I think where they lacked was the music. And because this whole movie was supposed to be revolved around the music and him pursuing his dream of being a successful artist, that was just, I don't know, lackluster to me. I thought they failed there.
Especially since it's like a jazz-based movie, you have so many things to pull from there. And you had clearly somebody who is, like Jamie Foxx is versed in jazz.
Yeah.
Like you could have had him singing. He didn't sing at all. He maybe sang a little bit, but I get what you're saying. Like it wasn't really the draw that I thought it should be. In my eyes, what I thought this Pixar movie was really lacking was comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is one of the less funny Pixar movies. Not that they all have to be funny, because they don't, but generally speaking, they are. And they use comedy to help convey their message. And I don't feel like it was as present here as it could have been, especially considering that you had Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey. I will come out right now and say that I think Tina Fey is one of the funniest people on the planet. I absolutely love her. I'm a huge 30 Rock fan, and that was basically her brainchild. Her work on Saturday Night Live is some of my favorite. I think she's, like I said, one of the funniest people on the planet, and they didn't really utilize her enough. There was one really big funny thing that I thought was great, and it was when they basically just shit on the Knicks, and that was the only memorable joke to me from this movie.
I liked the joke about the new souls, and they get to go into their own little personalities. One of them's like, I'm an egotistical megalomaniac. That's extremely opportunistic. I think they did there were some couple funny jabs, but I agree the comedy wasn't, the forefront like most Pixar movies.
Yeah, so I guess that's just kind of what was lacking for me. And everybody's going to go into this and take out something different as far as what the message should be. And I immediately after I watched it, I threw something up in the Discord talking about how like this movie made me really sad because it made me feel as though I wasn't really appreciating all the things that I should be appreciating. And Brick, you took something completely different away from this. And that, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying
it's actually a good thing as well, because the different interpretations and meanings. There's a lot of different interpretations and meanings from this movie that you can kind of pick and choose from and gather and run with.
Yeah. So like the ending theme of this movie was your spark isn't your purpose in life. It's what makes you want to live. So that's like, they say it outright. And I get that, but also they spend a lot of time talking about how you should appreciate the little things. And it just made me more introspective and thinking, like, part of why I came into this episode talking about how grateful I was for 2020 was that I was thinking about this movie and all the things that I should be appreciating that I'm not as good at as I should be. And that's probably because my brain is broken, but also this movie just made me sad. Is that fair?
Yeah. No,
what did you walk away from this movie feeling?
That's a good question.
It's so funny.
It was a little more. Go ahead.
There's a movie that we see that's not a Pixar movie. We don't have to stop and think about, like, what did this movie make you feel? But every Pixar movie is like, well, there was some kind of underlying message there, and it's supposed to make you think about something.
Yeah, no, I'm just a brain dullard right now, Mark. I'm an emotionless giant right now about the soul. Is like,
I guess what I'm really asking is, like, were you, when you got out, were you like appreciative of life? Were you sad? Did you indifferent to this movie? Like, did it not make you feel anything?
I think the one thing is like phones and being glued to screens all day. I think that's one thing I was thinking of, is just like, and especially 2020, there's not much we can do about that. It's not like we can fucking go frolic in the fields and go run around the city anymore. You can't do that. So it's a little bit weird seeing this movie right now, but also it's not, because you're at home with the people you love. And I think that's another thing. It's like, really enjoy the people you're around right now, and don't just get caught up in, yes, have a spark, have a hobby, have something you're passionate about, but live for the moment and live for the people that you love and things like that. So that's kind of what I took away from it. But I was just overall upset. I thought there was going to be some great music in this, and there really wasn't, in my opinion.
You know what? I'll tell you what I was feeling. I was jaded throughout the entire movie because the character dies, and then he's going back and trying to steal the soul of an innocent newborn. Oh, you don't know any better. Give me your soul. I want to go back to Earth and finish my dream. I thought it was that took me out of it a little bit, because I know it was just extremely selfish of him to try and do that. And I understand it was all in good nature, but part of me was just like, kind of a dick move, dude. Try to steal somebody else's soul because they're scared to go to Earth. But but still, I watched it twice. The second time around, I didn't get as much of that, but I was like, I appreciate more of the characters and where we're going, and the dark soul part. But run with God.
I'm going to quibble with your use of jaded there, because jaded is typically like, you've done something so much that you're now tired of it. And in reality, Joe was like just getting his big break, and what he wanted to do was go back to do more of what he had been doing on Earth.
Okay.
Like,
Then I was torn. A better word for that. I was torn.
Okay.
Between the character, between liking this guy and understanding that he's trying to go back to Earth and stealing a newborn soul.
I think that since he was trying to do it from a very cynical soul that was like, didn't want to be on Earth, I think that was, to me, that was the more interesting story than Joe, was like a soul that had kind of seen life. That soul was jaded. Soul 22 was jaded. Like, it was Tina Fey who was saying, like, I've seen everything. I've seen you have to go to work every day and I'll do all this bullshit. That soul was jaded. And I think what they did was a good job to her character of, there's more out there than what you've seen. In like, by the way, the Pizza Rat appearance was probably about a year or two dated, but still funny to me. So I liked her story better than I liked Joe's story. Maybe that's on me, but
yeah, no, both valid. So was this more the supporting character? Yeah, I again torn.
Yeah,
not jaded.
Mark, which character did you prefer?
22.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice one.
They left the ending open ended, where they didn't show you like what happened to 22, what body she, possessed, or they didn't show you what Joe ended up doing the next couple years. I like that they just left it open ended.
I appreciated that too, because it's literally on the viewer to decide what Joe's best life was going to be from there on out. Maybe he goes back to teaching. Maybe he follows his dream of being a jazz musician. I don't know. Maybe he decides to go back to school and be an architect. Who fucking knows? This was one of the rare cases in a movie where they don't tell you what happens and you're left to believe it, like left to map that out on your own. And I think it worked better than actually telling you.
Yeah, agree.
So I don't really know what else to say about this outside of spoiling it. So Rick, you got anything else you wanted to say? Wait, one other thing. Sorry. Pixar, obviously, is a Pixar movie, so the animation is gorgeous. It's unparalleled. Nobody does it better. There's no doubt. It looks like you're in New York City. It's almost photorealistic, and I can't say enough about it. Better at it.
Yeah, that second, that character they made New York a character in the movie the movie itself, just because being a new soul and the fish out of water, the worst, most anxiety-driven place to go would be the streets of New York. Just chaos. People are doing anything, everything. So I like how they integrated New York as a character in the movie.
They did a very good job of introducing the anxiety and pushing it onto the viewer, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Mark, what about you?
I agree with Brick. Sorry, I tuned out for a second. I'm looking at the score.
Wow. Okay.
It was a good time and good pacing. Yeah, no, it was good. It was good pacing, in my opinion, as well for the movie. It was an hour 45. They left things ambiguous at the end, meaning they didn't have to drag it on at all. I like that as well. And it just was a good pace as well. Well.
Fair enough. You kind of sped up there. I think you lagged out and kind of sped up. So that made it even funnier when you were like, well. Okay. I don't have anything else to say about this, so I guess we'll rate it. This was a very good movie. It wasn't a great movie. I liked it. I didn't love it. There's some discourse in the chat going back about whether this or Onward was better. Onward was better than this movie. Mm-hmm. That's not to say that Soul was bad. It's just that Onward was really good.
What did Onward get on Rotten Tomatoes? Just curious. I'll look it up. You continue.
So Onward was my second favorite movie of the year, as you can see in our rankings on Instagram. So
it's my fave.
I don't really care what Rotten Tomatoes has to say because
88, and it didn't make my top 5.
Yeah, this is 95%. I think I said. Who cares? Onward at the time it was like right when we were starting to get into D&D, and it appealed to that nerdy side of me. So maybe it was just the timing. I've also watched Onward twice since I originally watched it, and I still love it. So
I've only seen it once.
for me, this is still a see it. It's an excellent movie. It's a Pixar movie. Pixar doesn't make bad movies, so see it. Mark?
I'll say see it.
Rick?
It is, for the sake of being different, I'm going to say see it. It was good.
How big would your top movie list have to be to include this on it? Like 10, 15?
I did top 9, and it wasn't on there, so it wouldn't have made top. It might have been. It would make a top 15 appearance.
Things about where I put it. Like I was talking to my wife about it, and she was like, because I was talking to her when I was putting together my original top 9 list, which is now a top 5 list, and she was like, "Well, you have to adjust your list because we saw Soul." I'm like, "No, I don't. It wasn't a top 9 movie for me." So,
And that's saying something because of recency bias too. The 2 that I wanted to see were Soul. When Mark asked us a couple days ago to do a top 9, and I was like, okay, I've seen pretty much all the movies that came out because I looked at a list. But the 2 I wanted to see was Mank, that Netflix about the screenwriter for Citizen Kane, and then I wanted to see Soul. Both of them didn't crack the top 10 for me. They didn't make the top 9, but there were 2 I wanted to see to kind of at least flush out the list a little bit more.
it's weird in a year bereft of actual good movies.
Bereft.
We see a good movie, still not top 10 for us. But Mark, what about you? Top 15, top 10?
Yeah, top 15. No, not in my top 10. I wanted Wonder Woman to get in my top 10. Wasn't even close. I don't even know if I put that top 15.
Honestly, I really did too, and it's definitely outside my top 15. I had a list going, and Wonder Woman would not have slotted in there.
I know we're not like the typical critic. We don't love all these art house movies and all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, I was looking online just curious to see what all these websites were listing as like their top 20, 30 movies of the year. And our list is nowhere close because there's just so many of these like indie films that we haven't seen. Kind of curious to see, like, there's this Minari film, Mank was up there. I might go back and watch some of those because that's not our thing. But I'm like, besides Palm Springs, there was really no movie from our list that was.
I saw that on a lot of top movie lists, and I saw something. So a few things got cut out because we went from top 9 to top 5. So a few things that were on my list got cut out, like Save Yourselves was on my list.
Lovebirds.
Extraction was good. I'm trying to think of some other stuff, but
The Hunt. The Hunt was hit my top 5, baby.
You just love Betty Gilpin
And Dennis Reynolds.
That does not make it a top 10 movie of the year.
Absolutely does. It was fantastic. Brilliant work.
Whatever. We could argue about this forever, but instead we should just do our recommendations and get this podcast over with. So I will ask you, Mark, what have you been reading, watching, doing?
What have I been reading? I just got a new Batman omnibus.
Rick, an omnibus is a larger than a trade paperback collection, usually spanning like 90 or so comic issues.
Ooh.
In case you didn't know.
I didn't know.
This is the run by Grant Morrison. This is probably one of the few Batman runs that I have not read. And it's supposedly a really good one. So if you're into Batman, maybe check this out. It's a cool omnibus too. Yeah.
Fair enough. Erica and I on New Year's Eve watched Death to 2020 on Netflix, starring Samuel L. Jackson, Leslie Jones, Hugh Grant, Kristen Milioti, narrated by Lawrence Fishburne. It's basically a satirical look back on 2020 and all the terrible things that happened, but they do it from a very funny vantage point. Like, it's not Samuel L. Jackson and Leslie Jones. They're playing reporters or investigative journalists who look back on things and they provide commentary. It's kind of like a very long SNL skit, and it's directed by the people who do Black Mirror. So it's got that kind of edgy I don't really like it's a very cutting satire. So I was a big fan of that. And also I wanted to mention that the History of Swear Words is coming out on this Tuesday, and it's starring
Can't
Nick
wait.
Cave. And
Can we watch? We got to review that, right?
I want to spoil something right now because I was explaining this to Erica because they start talking about the word fuck. And fuck is an acronym. It stands for fornication under consent of the king. And it's back around bubonic plague times when the population was all dying off. And the king was basically just like, y'all need to go fuck.
Yeah.
Because we need more people to harvest our wheat. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. So, Brick, what do you got?
I cannot wait for that. Can we go back to Bereft? Well done. Year 2020, bereft of movies, deprived or lacking something. And then the other one is sad and lonely, especially through someone's death or departure, just all of 2020. Well done, Smithers. I didn't know that was a word, by the way. Okay, sick.
This has been Words with Smithers.
Boop. I just got Hitman 2. Hitman 1 and Hitman 2 on Steam are $15 with all the downloadable content. Hitman 3 comes out January 20th. I'm playing through Hitman 2 right now. It is so much fun. I am just a goddamn silent killer, silent assassin. Agent 47 is a BAMF. So many creative kills. Looking forward to that coming out.
Very cool. All right. So I think that's going to wrap up episode 228 of the Chumpcast. Thanks for tuning in. If you're looking at my background right now, I didn't hear no bell. This is a reference to our D&D stream that happens most Tuesdays, almost every Tuesday. I sacrificed myself, Mark, to save your sorry ass. I was willing to die at the hands of the Draco Lich.
Wow.
I was up there. I was like getting the thing, the orb that we needed or whatever the fuck it was.
Just saying. Tune into our D&D streams on Tuesday nights around 7:30 Central.
See you, Panda Claus. See you, Party Plug. Party Plug, come back and join us next week. Good in the chat.
All right. So I guess until next time.
Jumps up, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
Peace.
Waiting for Mark to hit the button.
And we're gone.
Good job.
And it's gone.
We're still here somehow.
And goodbye.